Hello everybody, major turning points are occurring in everybody's lives. The solar eclipse on December the 26th is followed by a lunar eclipse on Jan the 10th, 2020. With so many planets packed into one sign of the zodiac, this is going to be momentous. So if you are new to my channel, sub below and let's get started. Everybody, on December 26th at 9 degrees Sidereal Sagittarius, there is the solar eclipse, followed by 2 weeks later, the lunar eclipse on Jan the 10th at 25 degrees Gemini. These two eclipses are one and the same cycle. They impact your life in a very exact way, and events are linked between them. On this video, I will give you that information. Let's have a look at the energies, though, specifically behind these eclipses. So the December the 6th new moon eclipse, everybody, has a very dark energy, which is hard to fathom. What tends to happen is that from the beginning of December, in the shadow of this solar eclipse, you will feel the tension building. It will build and build and build until December 26th arrives, and it could, for some people, explode depending on your chart, okay? But it's a building up slowly of frustration, because the dark moon is about frustration and hidden events. What happens is you don't have all the information. Therefore, it's very important not to make any big decision around this time. Indeed, in this 2-week period, try not to begin anything really important or new. It's really not the best thing. Why? Because you don't have, as I say, all the information. There is a feeling of tension, a fearful feeling to the solar eclipse always. Best thing is to stay calm if you can. Do japa, do chanting, do meditation, do whatever it takes to calm your mind down, because the solar eclipse disturbs your mind, disturbs your psyche. It's a deep unconscious thing because it's a dark moon. As I say, many things are unraveling and you don't know what they are until 2 weeks later, when the full moon eclipse, because the full moon is really cathartic, it's emotional, it brings everything to a head. People get very upset and very challenged at a full moon, most full moons, but at an eclipse full moon, it's really dramatic. So expect that there will be sudden events at the January phase, and that they will be linked in some way to those things which were hidden at the solar eclipse. Everybody, December 26th, the chart. This is for England, but you know, wherever you are in the world, it's so intense. Just look at all the planets packed into Sidereal Sagittarius. It's a culmination of Saturn and Ketu that have been together there all year. This is a point at which all those issues, everybody, that have been churning in your lives since the beginning of March are going to come to a head now. And then Saturn in January will leave Sagittarius, and there's a whole new phase for everybody. Check my video on Saturn going into Capricorn, by the way. But look, if you're in Rahu Mahadasha, Mercury, Moon, Sun, Jupiter, Ketu, and Saturn Mahadasha, millions of us, yeah, you're going to feel this eclipse, because those are the grahas involved. If you're in Venus or Mars Mahadasha, you're a little bit outside of this energy, slightly, okay? If you have planets in Sidereal Sagittarius or Sidereal Gemini, you're going to also be impacted by this too. So it's going to impact so many people. Final consideration is that the Sun and the Moon eclipsed on December 26th. It's all about Mula Nakshastra. Mula means pulling things up by the roots and planting new seeds, but you can't plant the seeds just yet. But you will feel things being moved out of your life that need to be moved. Very often it's not a new sudden thing, I have to say. It's something which has been boiling for a while and it comes to a head. But as I say, in a hidden, undercover way at the solar eclipse. And then when you get to January 10th, things come out into the open, and there is a big emotional like a very emotional event sometimes, or there is just a very clear decision to move things on. So it's actually quite fortunate that the full moon eclipse actually occurs in Punavasu Nakshatra, which is ruled by Jupiter. Is actually ruled by the same planet Jupiter that is eclipsed at the solar eclipse. What this means, everybody, is that when you get to January the 10th and things do get emotional, maybe sudden events, maybe things, people may be saying things that they've wanted to say but didn't dare say before, and it's really everything's going to come out into the open that was hidden before. All the information becomes available that was not available before. But because it's a Jupiter-led nakshatra, it has a potential to release you. Because that nakshatra, Punavasu, is about the bow. It's about shooting for the stars. It's about making plans for a new future. So actually, even though these events can be quite churning for everybody, I really do feel that this eclipse cycle, and it is a cycle, will actually release many of us into a more hopeful situation. And as I say, avoiding starting things if you can in this 2-week period. Best to wait until after Jan the 24th, when Saturn is finally released from Sagittarius and goes into his own powerful sign. So now let's move on and look at how it's going to pan out for all the different signs. Please read for your moon sign and your ascendant sign to get the full picture. So for Aries moon and Aries Lagna, very important eclipse is happening for you on December the 26th. This eclipse is in your 9th house and Jupiter is present there, having just moved in. The 9th house is about 3 main things, okay? Education, higher education, particularly foreign travel, gurus and faith, and also father. So there is some major change in these areas which are linked to the 3rd house of siblings and family also. It's going to become intense. It's going to become intense because your life is at a very important turning point, Aries. Soon, Lord Shani will absolutely move into Capricorn, your 10th house. Check out my video for that and how that's going to pan out for you, because it's a change in your career. You are definitely unsatisfied and you need new horizons. In anything to do with being in foreign places or foreign travel now, it's going to come to a head. There's going to be a change of direction. If you've got plans to go abroad, if you've got plans to move, you may need to change them. You are really advised, Aries, not to travel during this 2-week period if you can avoid it, but don't be alarmed in any way. Just take your time, be calm if you have to make those journeys, okay? No need to become alarmed. But there is a change in your education, higher education. There is a feeling of being unsatisfied in any foreign place and in any higher education now, and there is a need for a change. But in December, you're unsure what to do. When you get to January the 10th at the full moon, all the information which you need to make these important changes become open to you. Father issues also, there may be conflict and some disturbance, but stay calm, particularly in late December. You've got a very hot temper, Aries. Keep a lid on it if you can. You become very, very fast to become disturbed. Stay calm. As I say, meditation, relaxation is so soothing at this time because you cannot fight these energies. Nothing will come from fighting, and you like to fight. There's nothing which you can fight now. When you get to January 10th, though, it's very emotional, may involve siblings and other family members, but conflicts with the father will be resolved for you, and your issues around foreign travel, education will also become resolved as you see a way to the future. Okay, because Punavasu means shooting for the stars. It means a new future separate from where you are now. So Aries, it's a very important turning point for you. Now, for Taurus Moon and Taurus Lagna, this is a culmination of the difficulties, Taurus, which you've experienced with Lord Shani in your 8th house. Lord Shani is involved in this eclipse. Shani is an Atmakaraka for you. He brings you to greatness, but you've had a lot of problems in your career because of Shani's 3rd aspect. You may have had serious job loss and serious roadblocks. This is the turning point for you, Taurus. So even though it may be upsetting at the time and a bit disturbing to your peace of mind because you like things calm and peaceful, yeah, just go through it. It's going to be fine, because at the end of December, things seem uncertain, particularly in these areas: financial issues, shared assets, family finance, wills, investments, and all sorts of monetary concerns, especially about things which are family led. Also, your values have been changing in the last 2.5 years. You've changed many values. Maybe it's about your belief system or your political values, but your whole sense of who you are and what you value, Taurus, has changed. And it's going to come to an absolute culmination now. So expect that in late December, things are looking difficult. You feel there are endless obstacles in regard to those areas I've just discussed. Stay calm, because when you get to January 10th, things will become known. So information which you didn't have about investments, wills, inheritances, legacies, joint finance, and your own financial situation will be resolved. You will feel a great deal of relief at this full moon period, and you can finally move on, because Saturn will then leave your 8th house at the end of January, and it's a new period of progress for you. For Gemini, it's a Kendra strong eclipse cycle. This is turning your life around. It's a new phase now, a brand new phase, waiting for the very, very favorable Jupiter transit to manifest fully in your 7th house. This is the beginning of a new relationship phase. Many of you, it will be leaving a relationship behind, but only do not fear, only if it's been on the cards for a long time, probably since the beginning or the end, of 2017, when Saturn moved into your 7th house. So it's been a long journey. And if you've been searching for the right relationship, you're nearly there, Gemini. You're nearly there. You are coming to a final conclusion about what you want and who you want in your life. And if you need to make a break in a relationship, you will find the courage to eventually do it after January the 10th, okay? But if there are just misunderstandings going on and you have a good relationship, basically the tensions are about to explode, but to be finally released. So in December, you will find it very difficult, because Mercury, your ruler in your opposite sign with so many grahas, makes it difficult for you. So many feelings of being in the dark, of not knowing what other people are thinking and not knowing what to do. Stay calm at the end of December. In January, all the feelings come out into the open, and you feel a great relief, a great feeling that there is actually hope now. So it's a hopeful eclipse cycle for you, and it's definitely going to sort out long-standing relationship issues for you. And I just want to finally say, if you have health issues too, because of the lunar eclipse in your 1st house, this will resolve those for you also. Now, for Cancer Moon and Cancer Lagna, it's a tricky eclipse cycle, but it's more than doable if you can just contain emotions. On December 26th, you are going into a very difficult cycle of a lot of tricky and overwhelming problems coming to a head, but they won't be new. They've been there for a while. These are the areas. Health issues that have been troubling you seem to become out of control. you become very worried because you are a person who tends to worry a lot about things, and you build all sorts of scenarios up into your mind. So be careful not to do that. You don't have the full information at the end of December in regard to health issues, Cancer. You need to take it easy, relax, but you'll find that hard to do because there are so many issues in your everyday routine, and there may be so many conflicts with people who are near to you. Workplace conflicts, family conflicts, relationship conflicts. It's all piling on, and you feel as though you're sinking under at the end of December. Here's the news: you're not. The full moon in your house of loss will actually conversely release you from this tension, Cancer, because it's in the favorable nakshatra, okay, of Jupiter, which is a favorable planet for you. So you will, at the full moon, because you are so deeply impacted, Cancer, by full moons. New moons are always hard for you, especially eclipse new moons, but full moons release you. You are fully in tune with this emotional energy. Even though it's a bit heavy for many people, Cancerians like things out in the open. They have a feeling of catharsis, a feeling of relief when things are made known. So you'll be speaking to people very, very deeply at this full moon. Information that has been worrying you will be made available for your health, and you'll be able to take a step forward, knowing implications and absolutely knowing what the right step will be after January the 10th. Foreign travel may very well be troublesome for you until after this lunar eclipse, okay? So after that time, any big move or any big involvement with foreign lands will smooth out. But in this period, it's a tricky time for travel. It's a tricky time for dealings with foreign lands. Finally, can I just mention expenses? Be very careful. There are expenses coming at you from all quarters, Cancer, now. They're coming in regard to so many areas of your life, and it is a period of a real feeling of out of control in regard to this factor. You will sort it out after January the 10th. Try to keep calm and not worry, because a new path will open up at the full moon without doubt. So for Leo Moon and Leo Lagna, this is a very important eclipse for you, Leo, because if you check my videos on Saturn transit into your 6th house, particularly from your moon, it's so favorable, and Jupiter in your 11th house, you are about to enter one of the best years you've had for ages. You are leaving behind a whole pile of worries and concerns, and the path is smoothing out for you. But this is the gateway. This is the gateway, the troublesome time you have to get through to get to that good time. So solar eclipses are difficult for you because you are sun-led and the sun is being eclipsed. You find the December time more tricky than the January time. So you don't like things under wraps. You like things out in the open, in the light of day, because you're ruled by the sun. But on December 26th, as I've been saying, in that month, things are under wraps and you are anxious, you are worried about children, you are concerned about your education, you are very concerned about the people who are supporting you, friendship networks, are they the right people for you? Students in particular feel a big roadblock now, like they need to move to a whole different course, or they need to even get out of their education. Don't make any dramatic move yet, Leo. Wait until after the middle of Jan, when things will become clearer to you. People's feelings will become more open. The options open to you will become very clear, but they are not clear now. You are seeing obstacles where there are not obstacles, more than lightly, okay? And in regard to children too, you feel like they are hiding things from you. It feels as though it's all gone out of control. Again, stay calm, because on the eclipse in your 11th house, which is a very future orientated house, you will find the new path forward in all of these areas. So for Virgo Moon and Virgo Lagna, what an important eclipse for you, because it's in the 4th, 10th axis, Kendra house, and your ruler Mercury is directly implicated in this solar eclipse. Virgo, things have been coming to a head in your home life, in relationships with your mother, maybe sometimes, in regard to your properties, your landed interests, and your family. It's all intensely coming to a head now. Are you living in the right place? That's a question which you have to ask yourself. Are things working out? They aren't. Domestically, there's so much pressure and there needs to be a change. Unexpected events may move you on, whether you want to or not, but it will all be excellent for your career, because that is where the full moon eclipse will emphasize a new horizon with the favorable nakshatra position of this full moon. So you must stay very calm, because you get agitated and very ill at ease at full moons, especially at new moons, Virgo, when information is not available for you. You're a very critical person, and there can be arguments in your home. There can be all sorts of mother problems and family issues, and misunderstandings, Virgo, are going to be tremendous. And at the holiday period too, as much as you can, cut yourself off mentally from the absolute agitation that you will feel at this time. You don't have all the information, and even though you know you've got to make a move, you know you've got to change home issues, the best thing is to wait until the end of Jan, or at least until after the lunar eclipse, to make a final decision, because it's linked. This change in your home life is absolutely linked to your status, your reputation, and your career. So new vistas, if you like, new horizons are opening up for you, Virgo. And at the full moon on Jan the 10th, information will be available for you that will move you forward and solve all of these family issues and concerns once and for all. Now, for Libra Lagna and Libra Moon, it's a tricky one, but it's doable for you, because Venus, your ruler, is not involved in this solar eclipse. It's not implicated. So basically, you're probably able to ride this fairly well, apart from some really intense sibling conflict. It's going to be so heavy with siblings and other members of your family, like cousins and so on, around the December 26th period. It's not the normal, if you're living in the West and it's at Christmas holidays, it's not those normal sorts of conflicts. It's been there for a long time. It's been boiling and boiling for the last few months. It's going to explode around the Christmas time. Siblings are going to be difficult, particularly younger siblings. Stay calm. You're normally a calm person who's able to ride conflict, but you dislike it in a way, although you often, funnily enough, as a Libra, you get involved in it. So it's a time when tempers can be very frayed and family concerns can be very jumpy, but there is something unsaid, something unknown. And at the full moon on Jan the 10th, it will be very clear to you what's really going on in these sibling and family conflicts, because Libra, the full moon is about higher education, foreign lands, and foreign involvement in every way, which will be favorable for you in the next year. So this full moon eclipse will open doors for you. It will open very good doors for you. But the point is that you have to close some doors behind you. And these may involve family contacts, unfortunately, but not in a horrible way, in a mutually, exclusively sorted out way that you come to a balanced consideration, okay? Father issues may very well be involved in these conflicts, but they will be definitely sorted after January the 10th. So it's not as a big changing turning point for you as it is for other signs, but it's a point at which you solve many family, sibling, father, and conflicts about your life direction. Finally, education. If you are a student, education needs to be sorted as well. You're maybe not in the right area. Something is not working for you. But after January 10th, you will get all the information you need to make a good choice in regard to that area. So it's actually not so disruptive for you, but all depending on the other planets involved in your chart. Now for Scorpio Moon and Scorpio Lagna, this is so important time for you. You are actually going to be moving out of your Sadi Sati phase because Saturn is about to move into Capricorn in your third house. Check my video of how stupendously favorable this is for you for the next 2.5 years. It's a huge relief, Scorpio, and you are about to enter that. But the gateway for you are these eclipses. They will finally shut the door to the past, but particularly they will shut the door in regard to shared assets and conflicts in regard to your security and your finance. You've been very much out in the cold in regard to financial security in the last year or so. And anything to do with any wills, inheritances, or joint assets are going to be sorted finally in this 2-week period, but at the end, not at the beginning. So in December, you're going to feel very tense. You're going to feel like it's all coming back again, all the tension, all the family concerns, all the feeling of being held back, particularly about your domestic life, how to find security, how to find nourishment. Stay calm, meditation, calming, chanting, as I say, all the in-depth things which you are very good at, Scorpio. Keeping yourself calm and quiet and uninvolved is good for you at this time. When you get to January, there may be explosive emotional scenes a little bit depending on your family situation and other planets in your chart, but you will feel it as a catharsis, as a release of tension, and in early Jan you'll sort out your joint financial and basic financial security issues, and you will feel free to move on. And when Saturn finally leaves your Sadi Sati, underline the date, Scorpio, January 24th, you can have a big celebration on that day. Things are moving forward for you. Do not be afraid. So for Sagittarius Moon, Sagittarius Lagna, your ruler Jupiter has just moved into Sagittarius but is now involved with Ketu in this solar eclipse. It seems as though you can't move forward in your life now. It's going to be a very tense 2 weeks. You're going to feel as though all of your plans are on hold. You're going to feel as though there's just no way to get out of this dark patch. This will really impact you, this solar eclipse. But it's a false front, okay? Things are not what they seem. Recall what I said at the beginning of the video, that the dark moon solar eclipse is hiding information from you, Sagittarius. When we get to the 7th house lunar eclipse, all the information becomes available from other people. So this will impact your relationships, this eclipse. It will influence your health and it will influence business concerns. So information is being withheld for you in all of these areas at the end of December. And you are getting agitated, worried, and frustrated because Jupiter is so blocked. But on Jan the 10th, at the lunar eclipse, your ruler Jupiter is actually going to be freed from this constraint because it's in a Jupiter-led nakshatra. So you will feel hope after January the 10th. You will be finally free to make a decision in regard to a perplexing relationship situation, a business situation, or your health. So it's going to be tense, okay? You are going to feel really challenged and really constrained. Hold on, because this is going to move your life on in a major way in these areas I've discussed. It's a Kendra eclipse. Your life is moving and it's going to be particularly good because Jupiter will then be free as all the other planets move on to give its good result in your seventh house. Okay, so do not fear. It's a tense time, it's very conflicting, but you will get relief in those areas I've just been talking about soon. Now, for Capricorn Moon and Capricorn Lagna, this is a tricky eclipse cycle for you. Okay, it's very tricky, but Shani is about to move into your sign and to give you power, even though, of course, if you are a moon in Capricorn, it's bang in the middle of your Sadi. But Sadi is always a time when the most important events happen that show you where you have stability, as you are Saturn led. So you react differently to Saturn to other signs. So back to this eclipse. It's eclipsing your 12th house. Now, your 12th house of expenses. You are going to have to sort out your financial situation in the next month in a major way. And this eclipse will show you where you need to cut off expenses, where you really need to take a real change financially. Foreign travel is going to be difficult for you in this period. If you can avoid it, Capricorn Moon or Lagna, please do, because it's going to give you frustration, okay? Health issues are coming up and can cause you worry. Again, you don't have the information. On Jan the 10th, the information about your health will become a lot clearer and should hopefully get rid of all of those fears. You've got to check your own natal planets. But the most important thing is you will feel happier after January the 10th, okay? Because the full moon brings everything out into the open and your ruler Saturn is being eclipsed. When Saturn gets into your sign on January the 24th, your path forward will be very clear and much more steady. So Aquarius, Moon and Lagna, I have to make a distinction between Moon and Lagna here. Everything I say will impact Lagna or Ascendant, but I just want to mention Sadi here. Aquarius Moon, you're about to enter Sadi on the 24th of Jan when Saturn moves into Capricorn. Have a check of my video on that on my channel that is about Saturn into Capricorn. Why is it important that I mention that? Because this is the moment at which you realize for your moon and your Lagna, but particularly moon, that you are not getting the recognition you need. You are going to really feel that your circles that you are moving in are not the right place for you. Work circles, friendship circles, network. There's a big change on the cards now, but it will move you to a much more satisfying period for both Lagna and Moon. What do you really want in life? You are questioning that at the solar eclipse of December the 26th. What are your real ambitions? What is really going to fulfill you? You care about people. You're very much about being involved in larger groups of people, but to a purposeful, wide-ranging impact. But are you having that impact, Aquarius? You will begin to have doubts about it. You will be also very concerned with your income. You begin to think, are you in the right job to give you long-term assets? So if that is the case, a major change in your career and your work environment may actually occur at this solar eclipse when you begin to realize that you're on the wrong path, okay? Your values are also changing, by the way, but that's a rather lesser thing. Now, the full moon in your 5th house of children, education may be easily linked here, okay? But it's mostly in your 11th house that you're going to feel this, because that's where your ruler Saturn is actually being eclipsed. So it's the 11th house bit that is more important. But if your job is in any way linked to creativity or children or young people or education, it's going to be linked, because you'll absolutely want to make big changes. But as I say, for everybody, it's so important, particularly when Saturn is involved, that you take your time. You don't make a rash decision at the end of December. You don't have the information. At the beginning of Jan, the information becomes available, and after January 24th, when Saturn is in his own sign, not with K2 anymore, but in his own sign, Aquarius, you will make the right decisions in regard to your job, your income, and your involvement with young people and education. So for Pisces Moon and Pisces Lagna, this is a 4th and 10th house Kendra eclipse cycle. It's so important. And in this way, when the solar eclipse is in your 10th house, the only way to say is that you're feeling overwhelmed. You are feeling overwhelmed by the work challenges now, Pisces. They have come to an absolute head, and you just don't know where you are going with your career. You're completely in the dark now. It seems as though there is no light of day, no place and no way that you can make a viable impact, but you will. Because on January the 10th, you will gain new information and you will feel a release from this tension. It's been with you for a long time now, because Saturn has been in your 10th house since the end of 2017, Pisces. You may have lost your job. You may have had conflicts with a superior. You may have had so many hurdles in your work that you've just felt like giving up. Don't give up, because Saturn is going to move into your 11th house, Pisces, on Jan 27th. Get free from this eclipse and open up the most amazing new work opportunities for you. Check my video on Saturn transit for more details. I'm mentioning that because Saturn is being eclipsed, and therefore you are losing all hope at this eclipse. It seems hopeless. It isn't. So stay calm. You're very good at meditation and chanting and going inside to spiritual self. Please do. Don't get involved in workplace conflicts. Don't get involved in politics. Don't get involved in anything which is disturbing your soul, because the 4th house is very much about our inner self and our inner soul. And on Jan the 10th, you're going to have a transformation, Pisces. The lunar eclipse will open up your emotions and make you realize what you really want to do. What's the most important contribution which you are going to make in your career will become obvious, and home issues. They're going to come to a head now. They've been here for a long time as well, and they're going to come to a head now. Yes, home issues, Pisces, on Jan the 10th, around the lunar eclipse, there may be some sudden events, but do not fear. Rahu has been for a long time in your 4th house, and you've been giving a lot of intense energy. There's been so many issues in your home and your domestic life. Again, you've been putting so much energy into it that it may have impacted in your career path because you couldn't find home-life balance. That's going to be all sorted when Saturn moves into your 11th house. Rahu continues in your 4th house though, but this eclipse will sort so many issues that have been outstanding, and you will finally have the information. What's happening is you don't have full information about home issues. This could be a multitude of things. Repairs which need doing could be, one thing. It could be family issues, family conflicts with no real information. All of that's going to come into the light of day on January the 10th. It may be a bit sudden. It may seem like, something which you didn't expect to have to cope with, Pisces, but you will cope with it marvelously well, because you will be released from tension in this area. So it's a very transformative eclipse cycle for you. It's the gateway absolutely into a new successful career path and possibly home life also. Hello everyone, sub to my channel if you are new here. God bless everyone, and new videos coming up soon on Vedic astrology.